and I wouldn't cry. So I would love to go. All right, here we are, Zulma Gonzalez, with A Course in Miracles Meet Science of Mind. This mic is all yours.
All right. Good morning. A wonderful, a thankful Thursday to each and every only one of us. I'll be on screen momentarily. Uh, all right. All right. Let's do this. Okay. Okay. Well, it has been a busy week. Um, a very busy week, and it could- it's just been a busy week. I'm glad to be here, though. I am so glad to be here. I have missed you all. I like that. And I want to make sure this is recorded in here that Prudence said you can either rest in God. What is it? Rest in God or rust in God? Is that rest or rust in
Resting
rest
God
in God?
or rust and grievance.
Rust in grievance. Rest in God or rust in grievance. Hmm. Fantastic. Fantastic. So my personal lighting is not good because my overhead went out and I have not yet gotten up there to change it. I'm not going to do that. Okay, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter a bit. Anyway, um I want to say good morning in the room to Dove and Lynn and Sharon and Regis and Glorian and Lindy. I am so glad to know that you all are here. Um uh I, Monday, usually I'm here on Mondays and I pretty much slept. I slept. I'm still playing catch up. My body's playing catch up. I'm waking up in the middle of the night and um and that's that. I wake up in the middle of the night and then I'm up for a lot more hours than I need to be. And then when I finally do go back to sleep, it's I'm tired. I'm tired and I sleep whatever. But being retired does have its advantages. It does have its advantages and I'm grateful for them. Well, all right. Let us be about our business. Let us be about our Father's business. Share my screen. Share my screen. Okay. And of course, we're here as always. A Course in Miracles meets the science of mind, or any of the other metaphysical sciences, the mental sciences, because ultimately they all say that there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And that is a quote from Dr. Ernest Holmes. And our first. Wait a minute, I'm in the wrong place. I'm doing this wrong. I have the two screens. I'm still working that out. Our first reminder is that the kingdom of heaven is within you, and whoever shall know himself shall find it. And that quote, that proverb comes out of Egypt. It is an Egyptian proverb. The kingdom of heaven is within you, and whoever shall know himself shall find it. Now, those who our readers of the Bible know good and well that that passage is a passage in the Bible. It also turns up in the Course because the Course is saying that it's written in the Bible. This is written in the Bible. But before it was in the Bible, it was coming out of Egypt. And we'll leave it at that. Do with that information what you will. As always, let us remember to mind our mind. Dr. Ernest Holmes teaches that to learn how to think is to learn how to live. That's come up a lot this week for me. That particular that to learn how to think is to learn how to live. That's come up time and time again. And it's becoming more and more useful to me. I'm paying more attention to it myself. In areas where I'm not feeling comfortable, I have to stop and remember that to learn how to think is to learn how to live. Um, that my thinking is when I'm thinking, when I'm not thinking with spirit, I'm really not thinking at all. When I'm thinking about the past or the future, when I'm thinking in guilt or in shame, when I'm thinking in blame, I am really not thinking at all. We're reminded that this is a course in mind training and that all learning involves attention at some level. There's no point in just opening the book, the book, any book, now and then, here and there, and just reading it, and then closing the book and going on and doing whatever it was I was doing before. Um, if I don't practice if I'm not really studying, if I'm not practicing what I'm studying, then what's the point? It's not theory. We're talking practical. It's something that needs to be put into practice in order to live peacefully. We have to study peaceful thoughts. We have to meditate peaceful thoughts. We have to repeat to ourselves peaceful thoughts. And over time, they actually start to come without us making a conscious effort to do that. How are new habits created? One step at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. So this is a course, this and all of these mental courses are courses, spiritual psychology. They're courses in mind training, and all learning involves attention and study at some level. Reminded, of course, from the course that an untrained mind can accomplish nothing, which is what I just said. If you don't train your mind, it's what did I read? If you don't, how's that go? If you don't learn to control your mind, everything outside will control you. Hmm. Hmm. And there's a section in chapter 24 that says, it's not you, the real you, the spirit that's tossed and blown by anything somebody says or something somebody does that you don't like. That's not the real you. Because truth, which is what you really are, spirit is what you really are, is not frail, it says, and I may find that later on. I don't know if I'll need it, but it came to mind, so I'm going with it. Dr. Ernest Holmes says that thoughts and things are but two ends of the same proposition. Since it is impossible to stop thinking, we cannot stop creating. Our choice is whether we shall create constructively or make destructively. Those are only two choices. We choose the ego thought system. We choose the Holy Spirit thought system. They're both in our mind. And ultimately, when we have completed, when we've come to the place where everything is knowledge for us, when it's all knowledge, then neither of those thought systems will be necessary, because thinking is not knowing. And when we have knowledge, then all of that, we let it go. All thinking produces form at some level, from the course, and from William Walker Atkinson. The mental pattern must always precede the material form. The thought always comes first. The course says all thinking produces form at some level. Form doesn't produce thought. Thought produces form. We think it up. We make it real in our own minds. And sometimes we get upset with what we've made and want to blame something or someone else for it. Isn't that something? From Emmett Fox, and I'm not sure if I brought this up last Thursday or not, but here it is again. I thought it was good. So God is bigger than any problem. And see, we forget that. We forget to live by principle. We go into the stuff that we see. We forget principle. We forget God first, God only. God is real. Anything else, anything that we see, hear, smell, taste, or touch is indeed temporary. God is bigger than any problem. The course teaches us that there is no problem. Good to see you, Lindy. That there is no problem. In truth, there is no problem. It's just that we're playing catch up to get there. Anyway, God is bigger than any problem. God in you is greater than any difficulty you have to meet. Any difficulty. any difficulty. I don't care what, I don't care something somebody said, something somebody didn't say, something somebody continues to say, something that somebody did, something that somebody didn't do, something that somebody continues to do. We always are at choice. So God in you is greater than any difficulty you have to meet. God cares for you more than it is possible for any human being to realize. This is a power quote for the day. God can help you in proportion to the degree in which you worship him. And here, Emmett Fox, by saying worship in the course, it talks about the habit of engaging with God. To the degree that you engage with God, to the degree that you recognize God, to the degree that you realize God, to the degree that you make God the center, the focus, first, last, and only in your life. God can help you in proportion to the degree in which you worship him. You worship God by really putting your trust in him instead of in outer conditions. Put your trust in God instead of in outer conditions, or in fear, or in depression, or in seeming dangers, and so forth. You worship God by recognizing his presence everywhere in all people and conditions that you meet. So this thing about, I'm remembering that I'm a spirit and I'm holy, but I'm forgetting that you are. You're not doing this, and you're not living a life according to how I think you should. You're not doing what I want you to do. And therefore, I'm right, you're wrong. I'm a victim, you're a villain, and we're separate. And if I'm separate from you, then I have to be separate from God, because in truth, there is no separation. In truth, there is no separation. Something as I had this conversation with someone yesterday, something as simple as the air we breathe. We all breathe the same air. We all do. It what starts out here can end up in Colorado, can end up in New York, can end up in Tennessee, can end up in Canada, can end up that same air. We all breathe the same air. That air called the breath of life, which is the symbol of the Ankh. You've seen me wear that Ankh. That it's a circle, kind of looks like a cross, but it's a circle first. The Ankh came before the cross, and it's a symbol of life, symbol of the breath. You'll see in a lot of the Egyptian pictorials, you'll see the Ankh held at a person's nose, because it represents the breath of life. But we forget all this. We forget all this, and we think that we're separate, because you're over there and I'm over here, and we perceive ourselves as separate. But if that's the case, we're only perceiving bodies. We're not remembering again that what we are is spirit. What I am is spirit, what you are is spirit, not several spirits, not a good spirit, not a bad spirit, not, an evil spirit, not, um, not, I just thought about someone had asked her if she believed in the Holy Ghost, and she said, "I don't believe in any ghosts." And it made me think of Casper. But anyway, I found humor in that when she said it. But anyhow, um, but there's only one spirit. Again, there's only one life, and that life is God's life. And Joel Goldsmith reminds us there is no God, and there's simply God, just the one spirit. You worship God by recognizing his presence everywhere, in all people and conditions that you meet. Everywhere, omnipresent, present everywhere. Therefore, and there cannot be two powers. I'm telling you, I had this conversation just yesterday, and I said I would bring this up today, and I'm doing it. There are not two powers. There's only one power. And if I'm thinking that there's two powers, if I am thinking that there's two powers, then I'm already perceiving myself as separate from God, because I'm perceiving myself as separate from someone, something, by saying that's mean or evil or cruel or heartless or whatever judgment words we come up with. But not me. I'm cool. I'm cool. See, because I'm holy, because I study A Course in Miracles, because I'm a religious science practitioner, because I have a certification as a biblical counselor, um uh because I get to do a presentation here. No, 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 no. All that's doing stuff. That's all human doing stuff. My worth is not established by any of that. My worth is established by my creator. That's my worth established by my creator. And your worth is also established by that same creator, because there is only one, 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 one. You worship God by recognizing his presence everywhere in all people and conditions that you meet, and by praying regularly. You pray well when you pray with joy. Dr. Holmes says that prayer is the answer to prayer is in the prayer itself. The answer to prayer is in the prayer itself. It's what we're praying for or what we're praying about, because I don't pray for things, I pray about them, because everything is already here. But what I'm praying about is the answer is right there in the about part. It's already there, or the for part, if that's the way you pray. It's already always there. So the quote that I want to look at today, I came across from the life and teachings of the masters of the Far East. The short version of this gentleman, Baird T. Spalding, compiled all this, but 11 people were sent to the East to talk to um, different spiritual teachers and to just to basically to gather information, to gather. And that became 6 volumes. This is from volume 1, the quote that I'm going to use. 6 volumes, and you will find a lot of what we've already learned, what we studied here in the Course of Miracles. It's there. You'll find it there. Nevertheless, make sure I have that in the right place. Okay. We have this quote. I'm going to break this one down, and I'm trusting you'll all break it down with me. The failure of outer things to satisfy leads the soul to seek the power within. Then the individual may discover that I am. He may know that within him lies all power to satisfy the soul, to fulfill its every need and desire. This knowledge may not come until the individual is driven by the buffetings of the world to seek this inner plane of peace and calm. When he knows I am is the fulfillment of his desire, the desire is filled. To look outside the God self for the fulfillment of his desire is folly. To unfold the self must do the unfolding. And I think it's the last sentence is the only one that I didn't attach to this. Everything I'm going to every passage from this point will be coming from A Course in Miracles. We're going to breaking this one down. Starting with the failure of outer things to satisfy. I've said already, I'll say again, and I'll always keep saying that anything that we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch will never satisfy. When I was a nicotine addict, in the 12-step program, when I went to a 12-step program about it, I learned the expression that 1 is too many and 1,000 will never be enough. Never be enough. There's nothing that out here that ultimately will satisfy, because we always feel we have to go get more of it and more of it and more of it, to a place where we start to, again, forget principle. We put God behind us and we attempt to use that thing as our God. And that'll come up in the passages. Your mind has the power, from the Course, chapter 12. Your mind has the power to deny the ego's existence, and you will surely do so when you realize exactly what the journey is on which the ego sets you. You will undertake a journey because you are not at home in this world, and you will search for your home whether you realize where it is or not. If you believe it is outside you, the search will be futile, for you will be seeking it where it is not. We're talking about the failure of outer things to satisfy. Can't happen, won't happen, not possible. Wait, I think things are happening in the chat. Let me pull up this one quote, and then from the course, seek not outside yourself. The search implies you are not whole within. The failure of outer things to satisfy. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Regis wrote, if you don't train your mind, you have trained it to create. Wait a minute. If you don't train your mind, you have trained it to create when, what, and however it wants to. Yeah, just all over the place, all over the place. Just everything that, I call it chasing the fly, I see a fly, and I go that way. I'm in the middle of a project, see a fly, and there I go over there, doing that over there. And then the fly goes over, and I'm in that, and then I go over there. This is what it's like people with ADHD. People with ADHD, some of them, the inattentive people that have inattentive issues with they're considered ADHD, and hyper focused 1 minute, and then something catches the attention, put that down and go over there to that. That's the best explanation of the inattentive ADHD. Let's see, is there anything else? There is something else. One spirit. So, and Regis also wrote that Christ in you, the hope of glory. God wanted everyone, not just Jews, to know this rich and glorious secret inside and out, regardless of their background, regardless of their religious standing. The mystery in a nutshell is just this: Christ is in you. Absolutely, absolutely. It's so basic. It's so basic, because how can did you write spiritual ADHD? Oh my God. I mean, absolutely. If there's no separation, this has become so simple to me. It's all. I wonder. I ask myself, how did I manage? I didn't. I didn't manage before. How did I manage before? How did I see? How did I think that I was loving? How did I think that I was uh, caring? How did I think that I was extending when I didn't believe in the unity of all life? And unity, as Dr. Holmes reminds us, is not uniformity. I don't have to do it the way you do it. And if you would want me to, then you want me to be your puppet. Not going to happen. The unity of all life. All life. It makes it so much easier when I'm seeing. Okay, so I told you, where I work, they have television on all day. So I get to watch the news now. and I'm seeing some of these things, and my first thought is, oh my God, how can this be? And then all things are lessons that God would have me learn. Let all things be exactly as they are. See, this is the benefit of mind training. The benefit of mind training, that I'm able to, in most cases, not all, but in most cases, not judge by appearances. That I'm able to go in and realize the truth of what I am, and the truth of what everyone is. That what everything is. It's all spirit. Omnipresent means everywhere present, everywhere present, everywhere present. Yes, indeed. We're talking about being a pure being. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Seek not outside yourself, because the search implies you are not whole within. We're talking about the failure of outer things to satisfy. The failure of outer things to satisfy leads the soul to seek the power within. So going back to the 12-step program, nicotine was my God. Cigarettes were, they were my God. I thought that I believed that they controlled my emotions. I believed that they helped me relax. They helped me relax when I was in hype mode, and they helped me have energy when I was tired. Isn't that something? The Course reminds us that we see what we want to see. Wherever we put our thoughts, that, and we choose to put feeling behind that, we tend to believe that as if that's so. And I don't know anything. I know nothing. I know nothing. I know nothing. But I'm thinking this. I'm thinking that this is the case. That this is the way it has to be. That that I had to have that nicotine. That was in the section called the Antichrist, or maybe it's Seek Not Outside. No, in the Antichrist, it talks about more of more than everything, as if there is something more than everything. Everything is, but one was too many, and 1,000 was never going to be enough. And I kept reaching for this, but it got to the point where, as the Course tells us, spiritual vision looks within. I was looking outside for what I thought I needed, and it didn't satisfy. It couldn't satisfy. How many hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars did I devote to the RJ Reynolds tobacco company, who never ever sent me a thank you letter for all the years that I devoted to it. Knowledge comes from the altar within. See, I don't know anything. I don't know what, based on what I see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. I know nothing, because everything I see, hear, smell, taste, and touch is going to change. It has to change. It's temporary. What did Dove say? Rust in grievance. Rest in God, REST in God, or rust, RUST, in grievance. Rest in God or rust in grievance. That came from our Prudence. If For those who stream the ACIM radio, you can hear her uh, early in the very early 5:30 from 5:30 a.m. She's on and playing wonderful music and playing recordings of Ken Wapnick. Phenomenal. And Prudence, oh my God, I've known Prudence. I met her when I first came together back in 2007, and she's still hanging in there strong. No, I expect nothing less. I expect nothing less. That's our Prudence. And the Course goes on. It is hard to understand what the kingdom of heaven is within you really means. This is because it is not understandable to the ego, which interprets it as if, oh, did I do that? I did do that, didn't I? All right, let me bring it back up. All right, here we go. It is hard to understand what the kingdom of heaven is within you really means. This is because it is not understandable to the ego. Remember that thought system that's just making up everything? It knows nothing. It is not understandable to the ego, which interprets it as if something outside is inside. And this does not mean anything. The word within is unnecessary. The kingdom of heaven is you. It is you. It is me. We are the kingdom of heaven. We're not kingdoms. Nope, not spirits. One spirit. One spirit. One spirit. Just one. Over and over. Just one. And the Course asks, keep yourself keep yourself fully aware that the undoing process, talking about the atonement here, the atonement principle, the undoing process, which does not come from you, is nevertheless within you, because God placed it there. Now, I know that the passage before that says that the word within is unnecessary. But because our little pea brains, our little minds can't seem to think beyond outside and inside, we figure, well, if I can't see it, it must be inside. No, it's through and through. It's through and through. It's in every molecule, it's in every atom, because God is all there is. So if it's all God, where is there a starting and a stopping point? Eternity is eternal. Always has no direction. There's no spot where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. So we're talking about being aware, keep seeking the power within, keeping yourself fully aware, keep yourself fully aware that the undoing process, which does not come from you, is nevertheless within you. And in other words, it is part of you because God placed it there. It is what you are because the Creator placed it there. And if I am what God is, then there's no way it could be otherwise. I am what God is. I can't. And in a conversation yesterday, that came across as a difficult statement. If God is what I am, then basically I'm saying that I am God. I am an individualized expression of God. Yeah, I'm that. Godling, if you will. I'm an individualized expression of it, as we all are individualized expressions of it. Hi, Michaela, welcome, Mickey. Um, we're individualized expressions of it. We all are, and together as a whole, we make up the sonship. So to continue with this quote, then the individual may discover that I am. From the Course, you are a child of God. I am a child of God, a priceless part of his kingdom, which he created as part of him. Nothing else exists, and only this is real. Nothing else exists. To exist is to have permanence. To exist is to have permanence. Anything else is not real. It's not one of those things that comes to pass. It always is. Spirit is in a state of grace forever, and our reality is only spirit. Our reality is only spirit. And therefore, we are in a state of grace forever. I want to get rid of the link on this thing, which means it's going to take it out for me, and that's okay. And I'll bring it back. I, the voice of the Course, do want to share my mind with you because we are of one mind, capital M mind. We're talking about the universal mind, the spirit mind, the God mind, the Christ mind, the one mind. There's only one mind. There's only one life. That life is God's life. One, one, one. Capital M mind. And we all draw from that same, we're all drawing from it. We think of some people as, being, we call them geniuses, or we call others gurus, and we call, others, whatever term we call them. But each and every one is drawing from the same source. There's only one source. Ideas don't leave their source. And we are an idea in the mind of Creator, in the mind of God. We are that. And there's no way that we can not be that. And that term child, I'm saying individualized expression. I'm an individualized expression of the Creator, a priceless part of the kingdom. The kingdom is all of it. All of it. Let all things be exactly as they are. I do want to share my mind with you because we are of one mind, and that mind is ours. See only this mind everywhere. Back to principle. Principle. Principle is not bound by precedence. In the 12-step that's by Thomas Troward. In the 12-step program, the 12th tradition, always place principle before personality. We're given 50 principles, 50 miracle principles at the beginning of the course. And we're given 11, 12 from the Declaration of Beliefs of Ernest Holmes, which we call the principles. If we focus on principle, if we're living from principle, then nothing will stir you, will stir me. Nothing can stir us because our focus, we're engaging with God. We're guarding our thoughts. We're not letting our mind wander. We're not hanging out in the sleep of forgetfulness. We're willing to remember. We are willing to remember because we're willing to engage God first and God always. That's all there is. Always. Yes. An expression of the all. I am an expression of the creator of all. Absolutely. Absolutely. The one, what is this? I'm reading the chat. It says the one man or woman created by Almighty is not almighty. That's true. I am not almighty. I am powerful though. Oh. I have been given everything. I am everything and I have everything. The problem comes when I tell myself that I am limited. Oh, well, I'm only human. I'm only human. I was just reading an article about an 82-year-old man who was doing miraculous things at 82. And his wife also, this was in the Science of Mind, the Guide for Spiritual Living magazine. And the article was simply titled, Change Your Story, Change Your Life. Change your story, change your life. Ernest Holmes, change your thinking, change your life. The course, if we, that our thoughts determine everything else. All thought produces form at some level. If we're willing to think with God, above all else, I want to see things differently. I want to see it differently. Same thing. But we limit ourselves. We tell ourselves we can't do because we are female, or because we are of this hue, or because we are of this age. We limit ourselves. Well, you have to expect that, Fee, because I'm in my 60s now. Well, no, you have to expect that. Well, then what was I saying in my 50s? What's different than what I was saying in my 50s or my 40s or my 30s? What's different? I'm using these numbers that have been assigned to me to determine the what and the how. It's taken me 67 years to 67 years to finally decide to do this this presentation, these presentations, Course in Miracles Meets Science of Mind. I've been talking about it since 2017, 18. Well, before that, actually, but I've been talking about it all this time. But I wasn't in a position to do it then. Not that I wasn't. It's just that I wasn't paying attention to that then. Whatever I focus on, what you focus on expands. What you focus on expands. All thought produces form at some level. Um, yes. Oh, that's absolutely right. An 81-year-old man is restoring America, and that's President Joe Biden. Exactly. We now this became part of a conversation last night. The fourth Wednesday of every month, we have a spiritual living circle based, and we take 4 articles from the Guide for Spiritual Living from the Science of Mind. And we discuss them. We're given the articles, and we have just study discussion questions, which we may or may not use the questions depending on how it comes up. But that's exactly what came up about this whole thing about being limiting ourselves because of age. We think, oh, they're too old for that. They shouldn't do that. Well, when John Kennedy was the youngest president, so some said he was too young. now they're talking about some are too old. Well, you're never too young or too old. We simply are. We simply are. Simply are. We simply are. I would like to continue with this. I do want to share my mind with you because we are of one mind, and that mind is ours. See only this mind everywhere because only this is everywhere and in everything. See only this mind everywhere because only this is everywhere and in everything. Don't tell me that God is not in everything. It says right here, I'm reading it, chapter 7, section 5, paragraph 10, sentence 11. Nope, sentence 10. See only this mind everywhere, capital M mind. We're talking about the mind of God. See only this mind everywhere because only this, no God and, only this is everywhere and in everything. It is everything. Wow, because it encompasses all things within itself. Blessed are you who perceive only this, because you perceive only what is true. Continuing with the quote, that he may know that within him lies all power to satisfy the soul, to fulfill its every need and desire. From the Course. The Holy Spirit teaches one lesson, only one, and applies it to all individuals in all situations. And that's because, as the Course reminds us, the form of anything might be different, but the content is the same. We're back to the one, the one, the one, the one. Applies it, the Holy Spirit teaches one lesson and applies it to all individuals in all situations. Back to that individual. We are individualized expressions of the Creator. And we're supposed to be. There are no two tangible things alike. No two tangible things alike. Not the thumbprints, not the blades of grass, not the snowflakes, no drops of rain. No two anything alike in the tangible sense. Being conflict-free, we're talking about the Holy Spirit, he maximizes all efforts and all results. That's why all things are lessons that life would have me learn. All things are lessons that God would have me learn. By teaching the power of the kingdom of God himself, he teaches you that all power is yours. All power. Back to that. How can I call myself limited? How can I, talk about what I can't do and I can't this and I can't the other? Probably have not made the effort to do that or attempted it and ran into an obstacle and decided that that obstacle was enough to not let me go on. No, all power teaches you that all power is yours. Its application, how it's applied, does not matter. It is always maximal. All power is always yours, and it's always maximal. All power is always yours, and it's always maximal. That's key. That's so key. All power and glory are yours because the kingdom is his. So I am what God is. Back to that. If I am what God is, and I don't say that God is limited, I don't say that God can't. God might not, what we call not. I mean, elephants don't fly, except in, um, in AI, that sort of thing. Elephants don't fly, but all power and glory are yours because the kingdom is his. What we have everything. We are everything. We have everything because having and being are the same. We have everything because we are everything. This knowledge may not come until the individual is driven by the buffetings of the world. I sure would like to know what you're reading. Yeah, you. I sure would like to know. Uh, mm-hmm. Mickey, your screensaver up every now and then is um giving us pieces of you. Yep. I like your shorts, just so you know. um, all right. This knowledge may not come until the individual is driven by the buffetings of the world. Do I need to go back to the original quote so you can know where I'm coming from? The original quote, the first part of this quote is that the failure of outer things to satisfy leads the soul to seek the power within. Then the individual may discover that I am. He may know that within him lies all power to satisfy the soul, to fulfill its every need and desire. This knowledge may not come until the individual is driven by the buffetings of the world. Huh. Because tolerance for pain may be high, but it's not without limit. Oh, the stuff that's happening out here. Oh my God, I can't take it anymore. I have reached my limit. Oh, it's out of control. I'm out of control. I don't know how to handle this thing. It's too much. I've smoked too many cigarettes. The doctor said you don't have to go home. I mean, you don't have to stay here. But if you in a hospital, you don't have to stay here. But if you go home, you are going to die. Tolerance for pain may be high, but it's not without limit. These things out here, these temporary things that we attempt to make permanent in our thinking, we attempt to make them permanent. Once we realize that they're not, tolerance for pain, we think the pain is permanent. Tolerance for pain may be high. I have chosen this pain. Tolerance for pain may be high, but it's not without limit. Eventually, everyone begins to recognize, however dimly, that there must be a better way. I've been doing this thing this way for so long, doing the same thing the same way, getting the same results. It's called insanity. But I keep thinking there's a passage in the Course that says, does it make sense to keep doing what has always failed with the thought that it's not going to fail next time? Its past has failed. I think that's in chapter 10. I'm not certain and not going there right now. Its past has failed. Can it make sense to keep doing the same thing and expect different results? Its past has failed. Eventually, everyone begins to recognize, however dimly, that there must be a better way. As this recognition, and to recognize, to recognize is to know again. We knew it before. Now it's coming back to us as this recognition, this recognition becomes more firmly established. It becomes a turning point, but not until we're ready. Just because revelation isn't the isn't the motivation for um, motion. It doesn't. That's not for accomplishment. No, no. We have to, the decision to accomplish comes with a changing of mind. Again, the tolerance for pain may be high. It's not without limit. Eventually, everyone begins to recognize, however dimly, that there must be a better way. And as this recognition becomes more firmly established, it becomes a turning point. I can't do this anymore. Above all else, I want to see. I am determined to see it differently. Above all else, I want to see it differently. I am determined to see it differently. I am determined to see it differently. And I can't say that if I have no desire to be consistent, if I have no desire to be persistent, if I have no desire to trust it, to rely on it, um, to rely on it totally, spirit, to rely on spirit totally. I couldn't get that word spirit wasn't coming to me. To rely on spirit totally. And back in 2017, I had come up with total reliance upon spiritual tenets, TENETS. I had come up with that. And shortly thereafter, Dove came up with to rely upon spirit totally. And either one, it's saying the same thing. We're still talking about trust. We're still talking about spirit. We're still talking about holding on to what's true and only what's true. So this ultimately reawakens spiritual vision. See, that's why recognition is again. We realize that we are spirit. We go back to recognizing that we are spirit. This reawakens spiritual vision, which means that the spiritual vision was there. This reawakens spiritual vision, simultaneously weakening the investment in physical sight. All things come to pass, come to pass, come to pass, 727 times in the Bible. Come to pass, come to pass, come to pass. The world you see holds nothing that you need to offer you, nothing that you can use in any way, nor anything at all that serves to give you joy. Now, it's not saying some things, it's saying no thing at all, no thing at all. Each thing you value here is but a chain that binds you to the world, and it will serve no other end but this. This quote, this is in my book, the book that I'm writing, that I've been writing. It's uses the Course as the foundation, but it's talking about these things that we value here, the things that I value here. That one more thing what was that movie, The Jerk, with Steve Allen? I don't know if you saw it. Funny movie. But at the end of the movie, he was told to leave. He's leaving, and he grabs something. I don't know, a chair. He says, this chair, this is all I need. And as he's walking toward the door, and this this knickknack, whatever, and this chair, and that's all I need. And then he goes and he grabs something else, and this lamp, and this knickknack, and this chair, and it's all I need. And he's burdening himself with everything instead of just letting himself be free, going out there as a child, going out there and opening his mind, going out there and being, as we say in Science of Mind, being open at the top, and always looking at what is mine to do, being open at the top. No, I'm going to take these things from the past and I'm going to bring them into the future. I'm going to drag them around. Well, then we're back to the pain. We're back to the pain. I am creating more and more pain. It is binding me. Each thing here that I value is but a chain that binds me to the world, to this material thing. But I can't, what's the expression? You can't take it with you? Well, you might as well let it go now. You can't take it with you, so you might as well start letting it go now. It will serve no other end but this. But enjoy it. I'm not saying not enjoying it. Enjoy it while you have it, but don't attach yourself to it. Don't attach yourself to it to the point where you think you can't live without it, because then we're back to the Antichrist, chapter 29, where it talks about idols, where we're making something bigger than the all, which isn't possible. It's not possible. But it's essentially what we think we're doing. We're using a thing to be bigger than the truth. This knowledge may not come until the individual is driven by the buffetings of the world to seek this inner plane of peace and calm. And I did not animate these, but I will. I can do that. Thank you, Regis. Every time I think about having two screens, I'm so grateful. I don't know how it happens though when I can see something twice. I don't know how that happens, but it happens. There we go. Nope, 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 nope. That's not the way we want to do it. Um, oh, that's why, because I had the same thing in here twice. We'll work with this. We'll work with it as it is. Salvation cannot be the only purpose you hold while you still cherish others. I can't talk about being saved if I still want to be bound. I can't talk about saving myself if I want to be bound. That's the unhealed healer. That's the person who's giving all this, who's telling someone, anyone, everyone how they can live a better life. Meditate, work, do these workbook lessons. Um, yeah, put your trust, be willing to trust God, and turn right around and that person is constantly frazzled because they're not giving themselves a chance to relax. They're not giving themselves an opportunity to rest in God, not giving themselves that opportunity to rest in God, but they're telling somebody else to rest in God. They're telling somebody else, that the tolerance for pain may be high, but it's not without limit, while all the time they're the dog laying on the nail. I'm the dog laying on the nail. I'm the dog laying on the nail, howling away, sitting on the porch, howling away. And I don't know if you know that one. We've talked about it before. But a person walks up and hears, the farmer sitting there with his dog on the porch. Dog is just howling away. And he says, "Why is that dog howling like that?" He says, "Well, because he's laying on a nail." He says, "Well, why doesn't he get up?" He says, "Because it doesn't hurt bad enough yet. Tolerance for pain may be high, but it's not without limit." We came to that place where it reached the point where you had to find a better way. Salvation cannot be the only purpose you hold while you still cherish others. I cherish other purposes. I cherish these listen to what other people say. I cherish what other people think. I cherish what other people do. I cherish um how things are done. I cherish the belief in lack. That's a good one. I have a thing in my head. There was something that I was quote supposed to be to get some years ago, and didn't get it. I requested it, and then found out that because the powers that be are not the powers that be anymore, I won't get it. Can't get it. Can't, literally, because it would have had to been done by the people who initiated it in the first place. So, and I've been walking around thinking about that and thinking about it, and this morning I was walking around thinking about it, and I'm vacillating. I'm vacillating between the realization that I don't need it, haven't had it this long, don't need it. Don't need it. It doesn't stop me from doing what I'm doing, being who I am. It doesn't stop anything. It stops nothing. What it does do, what the thought is doing, is putting a block in my way, giving me reason to think that I'm incomplete without that thing. No, I'm not. I have everything because I am everything. And I needed to say that out loud just to remind myself. I have everything I need. Everything I need, I have. And then some. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I don't need. But apparently I think I need it. So I need it until I decide I don't. But everything I need, I already have. And nothing is hindering me from being the best that I choose to be, the being my God self. Nothing hinders me except my thoughts about it. Not doing it. The full acceptance of salvation as your only function necessarily entails two phases: the recognition of salvation, as your function, and the relinquishment of all the other goals you have invented for yourself. So holding on, attempting to hold on to that thing that I'm supposed to have, I didn't get, and I can't get, that's I'm forgetting my function. My function is salvation. Salvation and happiness and forgiveness. It's all one. It's all one. So the forgiveness factor comes in here. We make them synonymous in this case, but the forgiveness factor comes in here. The releasing factor comes in here. For the overlooking factor comes in here. The Course teaches that to forgive is to overlook. Okay, it happened. It's done. It's over. What point? What purpose is there? What purpose does it serve for me to hold on to something that's only going to pain me? Why do I think I need that? The recognition of salvation as my function and the relinquishment, letting go of all the other goals that I have invented for myself. Oh, those inventions, they come and they go. They come and they go. It'll be a thought today and it won't be a thought tomorrow. I'll let it go. I was playing Karen Drucker's song "Let It Go" just before I came on for that very reason. The last thing I did before I came on here, I was listening to Karen Drucker. Back to tolerance for pain may be high. She says when things are just too much. And then it talked about, being bound by these things, and I'm holding on so tight. Same thing. Same thing. So to seek this inner plane of peace and calm, we're reading here, this is the only way in which you can say and mean, my only function is the one God gave me. That is by relinquishing the other stuff, recognizing that salvation is my function and relinquishing anything else that I have invented for myself. This is the only way in which I can say, you can say, we can say, my only function is the one God gave me. This is the only way in which you can find peace of mind. By the way, this quote came to me. There's more to this. This quote came to me as part of a reading. In fact, the information about this book, I had been looking at it on looking at it on the Kindle, and I thought, do I need this? No, I don't need that. Do I need this? No, I don't need that. And I really still don't need it. I can't tell you how many books I have that I have yet to finish. Wow. Books, I'll look at something. I didn't even remember buying that book. Things like that. That's part of my thing. Everybody has a thing. That's part of my thing. You know, I'm starting to categorize them. Actually writing it, doing an Excel sheet with the titles of my books, so I can, because I just I have books here and I have books over there and I have the bookcase over there and I have bookcase up there, two bookcase up there. They're books and more books and more books. I think it's an amazing thing when people give away books. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I am literally working on it. Because I told myself that this week I'm going to get rid of 5 books. Books that the titles don't even move me anymore. Oh, I don't know why I bought this because somebody said it was a good book or things like that. 5 books. Hold me to it. Ask me again. Text me. Somebody hold me accountable to that. 5 books. Thank you. 5 books, and I'm asking for accountability partners because apparently I'm not being in integrity. What's that first agreement? The first of the 4 agreements, being impeccable with my word. I'm not being true to myself. Now you ask me for something, I'm right there. And then those of you who know me, I say I'm gonna do it, I do it. But I tell myself I'm gonna do it, then I do something else. And I do something else. And I do something else. And I realize I desire an accountability partner. I desire an accountability partner because I'll do it because I told you I'm gonna do it. And that's something that, until I can get my own grip, until I can be in that place of being impeccable with my word, I'm asking to be assisted with that. So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. The quote, we're talking about seeking this inner plane of peace and calm. See, keep track of time here. Where am I? Think not you understand anything until you pass the test of perfect peace. For peace and understanding go together and never can be found alone. It's interesting. As I'm reading these passages, seeking, passages and finding them, and I'm reading them, it's like, I don't remember reading that, but it's clear and it's important. Peace and understanding go together and never can be found alone. Because when you truly understand something, when you're truly at peace, there's a sense of being able to just let everything else go. That I understand that what I am is what I have. What I am is what God is. That what I am is spirit. And as I continue to understand that and understand that, the peace comes. I'm trying to think of. It's not coming. Okay. They are cause and effect. Peace and understanding are cause and effect, each to the other. So where one is absent, the other cannot be. And that's true, because when I'm trying to understand something, I'm trying to get a grip on it. I'm trying to, I'm fizzled. Oh, I, I remember having to take algebra 30 years after I took it the first time. I didn't like it the first time. Passed it, but it's now 30 years later. I had to take algebra for one of my degrees. I don't know. Anyway, I think it was for the printing arts technology degree. I had to take algebra. You say math, and I do the basic math. I don't use a calculator for basic math. I do not. I do not, because I refuse to, let the phone be smarter than me in those areas. That's me. I can do the basic math, add, subtract, multiply, divide, no problem. When you start getting into algebra, and this is in parentheses, and this has an X in it, and this has a Y, then things start to get a little muffled for me. Anyway, I had an algebra tutor, a coworker, a former coworker of mine, and there was a moment when I was sitting at his table. I remember, oh, poor Harry, when I put the boy through, and I'm saying, I'm tears streaming. I don't know. I don't understand why I'm not getting this, Harry. I'm a woman of reasonable intelligence, right? I don't understand. I'm crying. Talk about no peace. Because I couldn't understand it. I wasn't understanding it. And once I did, why did my hand go up? And once I did, once I did, um, it just fell into place. It just fell into place. A major exhale, a B by the skin of my teeth, I'm sure, but a B to maintain honor roll. Oh my gosh. Oh, peace and understanding go together and never can be found alone. They are cause and effect, each to the other. So where one is absent, the other cannot be. Only those who recognize they cannot know unless the effects of understanding are with them can really learn at all. We're talking about knowledge here. We're working on knowledge. We have to know. I can't know anything unless the effects of understanding is with me. Can I really learn anything at all? For this, it must be peace they want. It must be peace I want. I'm not seeking to know, I'm seeking the peace. There we go. I'm seeking the peace. And in seeking the peace, all that other stuff comes with. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these other things will be added unto it. Seeking the peace. For this, it must be peace they want and nothing else. Nothing else. That means I can't go around saying that you're this and you're that, and but I'm this and I'm not that. Nothing missing, nothing broken. That's right, Regis. That's what peace is. Nothing missing, nothing broken. It just is. It simply is. Nothing is missing. I am lacking nothing. I am what God is. I am an individualized expression of God. How can anything be lacking? How can anything be missing? And if that means that a cup of sugar, to the store I go. That if that means knock on my neighbor's knock on my next door neighbor's door. It's a cup of sugar. If I have it, you have it. We have it. It's all here. It's all everything we could possibly want is already right here. Why is my hand up? My virtual hand. Maybe if I stop moving my hands, it will. So whenever you think you know, here we go now, careful. Whenever you think you know, peace will depart from you because you have abandoned the teacher of peace. See, that whole thing, I know, but you don't, I'm right and you're not. Back to the question, would you want to be right? You want to be happy? You want to be right? You want to be happy? Oh, I know. Mm-hmm. And you don't. Whenever you think you know, peace will depart from you because you have abandoned the teacher of peace. See, I'm focusing on me knowing. I know my ego, the body. I know. I have abandoned the teacher of peace. Whenever you fully realize that you know not, that you don't know, peace will return, for you will have invited him to do so by abandoning the ego on behalf of him. Mm, mm. I like that. I really do like that. Let's see. Back to the chat. Yep. Yep. Fear of peace and fear of missing out cannot exist together. They cannot. FOMO. Uh-huh. I remember the first time I heard that. FOMO. What is FOMO? Fear of missing out. Oh, yeah. I know FOMO. I had moments, lots of moments of FOMO. This thing I'm talking about that, I'm supposed to have. I can't have it because I see Karen's hand. Hi, my Karen. Welcome.
Hi, my Zulma. Hi, Regis. Good morning. Good morning. So this is just reminding me of when I was growing up. We always used to say to my dad, because he used to lecture us all the time, I know, I know, I know, I know. And he would get so angry, he would literally slam his hand down and say, you don't know. So that's like a joke between all of us kids now. We always say we slam our hand down and we say, you don't know. I mean, he was so right. We never knew. We didn't know anything. And he would always say that, you don't know. So I love that now. I mean, I just love that now. And we don't know. We really don't. So I just wanted to share that. That's just reminded me of my dad. Thanks.
I appreciate that. We don't know. We think we know because all things come to pass. What I know in this moment is going to change. What I think I know in this moment is going to change. All things come to pass. They don't come to stay. They come to pass. So is temporary knowledge knowledge? No, knowledge is permanent. Oh, I think this may work in the moment, but in the next moment, it's just not going to work. Whenever you fully realize that you don't know, peace will return. for you will have invited the teacher of peace to do so by abandoning the ego on behalf of him. I know, I know. I like that, Karen. I know, I know, I know. When he knows I am, when he knows I am is the fulfillment of his desire, the desire is filled. You do want peace, the Course teaches us, or you would not have called upon the voice for peace to help you. Yeah, I want peace. I say I want peace, but I'm saying, but I want you to change. I want peace, but I want you to change. A workbook lesson 71 tells us that we think that if you do something different, then I will be okay. Then I'll be saved. I, you're the one. You're the problem. I'm saying that you're the problem. But that sentence even starts with I'm saying, which means I'm thinking, I'm believing. It's my thoughts. It's always my thoughts. I'm never upset for the reason I think. That's workbook lesson what, number 5? Is that early on? I'm never upset for the reason I think. Never, ever upset for the reason I think. I believe I think that's number 5. It's funny how those itty bitty those early lessons, I'm saying itty bitty, those early lessons, powerful lessons. I can't tell you which. I can tell you about certain ones. You know how we know. Yes, lesson number 5. I am never upset for the reason I think. And this number 6 is I'm upset because I think I see something that's not there. I think I see something that's not there. I think I'm seeing you. But what I'm seeing is my thoughts of you, not you. I'm not seeing you. I'm seeing what I think. It's my thoughts that are causing me the pain. It's always my thoughts. It is only my thoughts. I don't care what name you attach to it. It's only my thoughts that are hurting me. I do want peace, or I would not have called upon the voice for peace to help me. You do want peace, or you would not have called on the voice peace to help you. God is love, and you do want him. This is your will. Ask for this, and you will be answered, because you will be asking only for what already belongs to you. Remember, we have everything because we are everything. God's will and my will is one will. That's why I can say that I am God incarnate, because God's will and my will is one will. What God is what I am. I am the individualized expression of God. I don't care how you word that. You can. What does it say? What do we say? Created in the image of God, in the likeness of God. Have we talked about that already? Or is that yet to come up? That might come up yet. I'm not sure if that already came up. In the image and in the likeness. When you have accepted your mission to extend peace, you will find peace. For by making it manifest, you will see it. And then from the voice, as I become more real to you, you will learn that you do want only that. You want the peace. When he knows I am is the fulfillment of his desire. When I know that I am is the fulfillment of my desire. When you know that I am, when you know I am is the fulfillment of your desire, the desire is filled. You want peace, or you would not have called upon the voice for peace to help you. That's key. That's key. I say I want this. What's that section in the course about means and ends? It says, you want this end, you want this, but you don't want to do this to get that. The course says, well, why don't you just admit that you're inconsistent? Inconsistent. I tried to get mad at the course, but I couldn't, because the truth was true. Here it is. To look outside the God self is the fulfillment. No. To look outside the God self for the fulfillment of his desire is folly. And I believe this is the last of this quote. The statement, oh, the statement, God created man in his own image and likeness, needs a reinterpretation. Image can be understood as thought. So that means that God created me in his own thought, and likeness as of a like quality. Okay, God created me in his own thought and of a like quality. This is why God's will and my will are one. God did create spirit in his own thought and of a quality like to his own. There is nothing else. There's no God up there. From the Declaration of Beliefs by Dr. Ernest Holmes, the highest God and the innermost God is one God. It's not something separate from me. If I'm thinking in bodily terms, then yes, I have to think separate. But that's not it. That's not it. It's the unseen that it's what gives me breath, what gives me life. I am an individualized expression of life. I am an individualized expression of love. I am an individualized expression of truth. I am an individualized expression of God, and there is nothing else. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, because that is where the laws of God operate truly. And they can operate only truly because they are the laws of truth. There is nothing else. God is all in a very literal sense. I love that. God is all in a very literal sense. And that's why it's written that we live in God, we move in God, and we have our being in God. Break that down. What is that saying? We live in God. We live in God. God lives in us. God is literally. We live in God. God is in me in a literal sense. I move in God. I have my being in God. That's saying an awful lot. No, and that's right. God is. There is no and. There's no such thing as God and. Joel Goldsmith. It's funny because my Reverend Sheila Pierce, she used to say that all the time. There's no such thing as God and. And then I was reading one of Joel Goldsmith's books, and there it was. No God and. I love it. I love it. I love it. There's no such thing. There is nothing else. God simply is. The isness of it all simply is. There is nothing else. Here we go. Know thyself. Because there's nothing else to seek. I can't worry about what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're thinking, what's happening out there, what's going on television, what's going on in DC, what's going on in the different parts of the world in terms of my peace. Now, I'm not saying that, I'm not doing my part. I did social justice walks and giving contributions here and there. That's not what I'm talking about. And I don't know if my social justice walk, who benefits from that? The people over there benefit from it? Are they being aware that, that we're over here doing social justice walks? And I thought about that. I didn't think about that the day I did it, but you start ruminating on things, start thinking about things later on. Is my social justice walk helping? Who's it helping? It's helping me. It's helping me remember, because as I am with this group of people I don't know, I've never met before, most of them of a different hue, different cultures, most of them, the vast majority. But the oneness of it all. It's about the unity. It's about the unity. Doesn't have to be uniformal. Unity. When I talk about uniformity, we're talking about the unity of it all. The unity of all life. The unity, because God is all in all. There is nothing else. God is all in all, in a very literal sense. Therefore, know thyself. Because God's will and my will is one will. So I am created in the thought of, and of a quality. I am created in the thought and of a like quality as God. There is nothing else. Know thyself. There's something else in this chat. Let's see if I can bring it up. I am. That's it. God is. Here's a song by Eddie Watkins Jr., and the words simply are, God is, I am, right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am. That's it. That's all the words. That's it. That's it. And yes, the words that we speak are vital, because we're always talking to ourselves. And isness is your only business. Thank you, Dove. Isness is your only business. All encompassing. All in all is one. One, one, one. All one. All the same. And I'm going to close with a passage from the Bible. I was having a conversation with someone yesterday who we're talking about trusting others. And in the Bible is written, love your neighbor as yourself. It doesn't say trust your neighbor as yourself. Doesn't mean that trust doesn't become part of it, but love your neighbor as yourself. If I'm loving you as myself and I trust myself, then ultimately I have to trust you, because we're back to the oneness, back to the oneness. I love my neighbor as myself. However, it says, trust in the Lord. This is from Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Do not think that you know stuff. Lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways, in all your ways, in all ways, always, in all your ways, acknowledge the oneness, acknowledge the Creator, acknowledge God, acknowledge Spirit, acknowledge love, acknowledge truth, acknowledge peace in all your ways, acknowledge life, which is ever evoluting, always creating, always creating, always creating. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Just be still and know. Be still and know. That I am. And with that, Lynn, here's the mic.
Thank you so much, Zulma Gonzalez. What a wonderful